Welcome back to the Expressions of Destiny podcast. This is Jennifer, and I am so excited to be back with you today. Today we're going to go into a kind of like a business direction, a little bit of a teaching on some of the things that I have learned and I have utilized, in owning my own business, working for other businesses, helping other companies. And so I want to teach you something today that is called my pattern for success. Everybody has a pattern. There is a pattern to all things. And so I want to show you what I have found to be what works for me. What I see works when I go into a store or I go into a business or an organization, and I kind of just watch. And I observe what other people are doing. I don't say a word. That's pretty much how I do everything in life, is I just observe and watch. And I don't judge, but I'll look to see how things function, how things operate. You can see the tension in all situations if you just take a moment to just watch and not say anything. And so, and it's not a bad thing. A lot of times it's a good thing because we learn to recognize these things. And so I want to give you this example and then tell you how I like to perceive things. But as we're discussing this today, let's look in the frame of, it could be a grocery store, you could be in a clothing store, any type of retail store, you could be in a nonprofit organization or in a really big corporation, it could be a marketing company. This is going to cover everything, no matter how big or how small the business is. So don't try to place this on just a certain type of business or a certain industry or a certain size. This is going to fit, this pattern will fit any business, no matter what their capacity is. And so I'll say it again, there is a pattern to all things. And when we finally figure out that pattern, that's when things can flow. That's when the pattern will benefit the purpose for which we built these things. So businesses that thrive, they don't just survive. They're thriving for a reason. They're thriving because they're following a pattern. And I want to tell you the pattern that I see. And it goes in this order every single time. It's vision, people, work, and purpose. Not in any other order, but it has to be in that order. If you can walk into a business and you can see the vision, you can see the people, you can see the work that is being done, then you'll see the purpose. And so let me just break down these 4 words for you. We're going to kind of dive deep into this today, but the 4 words are going to help you better understand the importance of this pattern and why it's so significant. So let's look at vision first. The vision relates to the thought. It relates to the concept, the dream, whatever it is that business owner had. So we got to think about the person who created this thing. They had an idea. They had this vision that came to them one day, this thought, this idea, this concept, this dream. And the vision is what ended up driving them. And so it's pretty much, it's a desire to see that dream manifested. So we think about these things, we have these great ideas, and then this passion rises up inside of us because we want to see this thing come to life. We want to hold, if it's a product, we want to hold it in our hand. We want to feel it. We want to touch it. We want to be able to obtain that thing and have it ready to go out to people. But there's a process, right? So we have to create that thing. And so this is where the vision is that driving force and that fire that gets lit to create that passion to want to put this thing together. Like, we can't help ourselves. And if you are an entrepreneur or a business owner, you know this feeling. If you're working for somebody and you've always had a dream, you've always wanted to step out and do something on your own, you know what that feels like too. So to just dream of something is never enough. You know, we get frustrated. This tension builds up. This this feeling of, I have to get this done, but I can't get it done, and I can't figure out everything on my own, and we get overwhelmed with it. And so to just dream about it is not enough. So there has to be support, there has to be an action that is taken, and there has to be drive in order for this vision to come true or to come to life. So this is where we lead into the next thing. The business owner has the vision. They know what they want to do. They need the people. So the support comes in, and the people become the support system. Now, a support system does not need to be there right at the very beginning. It can occur at the beginning, it can be in the middle, or it can be at the end of the vision. And let me explain that a little bit. So if you have this idea, and you immediately know who you want on your team, as the idea or the company grows, you begin to add more team members. And then as some team members decide to leave or transition into something else, those team members are replaced by a new support. So there's this constant transition. You have people that come in at the beginning, they're all gung-ho, they're excited, they understand the vision, they're running with you full force, they're willing to support you, they're excited to support you. But at some point, you begin to grow. You need more people. More people come in right in the middle of that vision as it's being played out, as it's being worked on. And then at some point, some of those people realize that there's something else in their life that they want to do and accomplish. They've done all they can to help you. So they move on, and you have to bring in more people. So there's a constant transition once again. People in and out, in and out. And it's not the idea of the revolving door. The revolving door with a lot of businesses right now is people that are unhappy, people that don't want to be there. They're just there for a paycheck. They don't understand the vision, and so they're in and out as quickly as possible. They thought they knew what the job entailed. They thought they wanted it. They realized it wasn't. They moved on to something else, and it was just a quick rollover. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about people who are there. They understand what it is that you're trying to do. They want to do all they can for you. And then a season is up, and it's time for them to go. And they're replaced by more people who understand the vision and are ready to work and do everything they can to help you grow. So we just hit that word work. So we went from vision to the people, or that support system, and now we're going into work. This is the action or the activation. So activation must be a constant focus with this model of business. I've learned this over many, many years. Every business owner, every entrepreneur, every ministry leader, church, pastor, we have known this to be true over and over and over, that we can't just talk about doing something. There has to be action. If we don't have action, then the manifestation of that word will never happen. So there's so many definitions of work. Now, we know this word to be anything and everything. We've learned it so many different ways. Everybody has a different interpretation of it. So there's going to be all these definitions of the word work. And it seems like a simple thing to understand. But there's a particular one that I love, and this is what should be imparted into your employees and your team. Those that are there to help you, the people, okay? So the word work means to produce or operate according to plan or design. Let me read that again. The word work in this case for your pattern for success means to produce or operate according to plan or design. So I want to break that down just a little bit more and make it so simple, so easy to understand, yet it is so profound. And it is just this: to produce according to design. It's just that simple. So there's a question that comes after that, especially with the people that are there with you, that are helping you, that are working for you. What have you been designed to produce? And that's a hard question for a lot of people. Sometimes they really don't know. I didn't know for a long time what I was designed to produce. I didn't know. I didn't know my purpose. I didn't know why I was here. I had to figure that out and try to really learn what my passions were. Learn what God created me to do on this earth. Each one of us has a purpose. So if we go back to that definition of work, to produce according to design, we have to be willing to look at our employees and say, well, what have you been designed to produce? And we have to look at ourselves as a business owner, the one who has the vision, and know what it is that we have been designed to produce so that we can impart that to the people that are working for us. I hope all this is making sense. So what have your employees been designed to produce? Do you really know? And here's where a lot of our training gets more detailed and in-depth when we do have an opportunity to speak with people or to train or to share, our thought process on business and customer service and employee coaching, getting people to that place of not just doing what they're told, but having more of a relationship to the point where they understand what it is that you want them to do, and they're willing to do it because they have a passion to do it, because they understand the vision. And so how many times have we taken the time to really sit down with someone and say, do you know what you've been created to do? Do you really know? Is this something that you love doing, or are you just doing it because you need a job or you need a paycheck? And if that is the case, that's okay. But let me help you find your purpose. Let me help you discover what it is that you really have a passion for, so that maybe, just maybe, if I have a better position for you, I can shift you over into that area so that you can really do everything that you love doing and help my company grow while I help you grow at the same time. This is a relationship that goes both ways. It can't just be the employee always doing for the business owner, or the leader or the supervisor or whatever position, they hold, the manager. There needs to be an understanding and a relationship established between the two so that they can work hand in hand, knowing that they are accomplishing the same goal. They are working towards the same vision. I want to go into this last word, which was purpose. So we began with the vision, we moved into the people, and then we focused on work, and now we're going to talk about purpose. This is the final point in the pattern, and this is the very thing that keeps the pattern in full motion. And I'm going to say this, as the seasons change. One thing that you'll learn about the way that we teach is that there is always a season for everything. There is no indefinite. Seasons change. That's just the way, if we look at, our earth and the pattern of things that happen throughout a year's time in nature, there is a season for everything. We have spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And so different individual things happen within those seasons. We know when the seasons are changing. And so just the same with our employees, we must understand when our employees' seasons are changing, or when we as business owners are changing and our company changes along with us because we hold the vision, right? So if you haven't learned by now, listening to this podcast, no matter how many episodes you've heard, you should have figured out by now that I love bringing intention into knowing the meaning of words. We have to understand what these words mean. We have to have a full understanding. We can't just throw the words around. We have to know it. So to understand what a word means in relationship to who a person is, this is what brings purpose into every situation. You have to understand what the word means in relationship to who the person is. So this is what purpose is. Purpose is the feeling of being determined to do or achieve something. It has everything to do with what a person is trying to accomplish or become. So knowing the purpose of your company is not the only important part of this pattern. And I want y'all to understand that. You're going to know the purpose of your company. You created it. You built it. You had this vision. But that's not the only important part. You have to know the purpose of your employees and the purpose that's inside of them. This is what's going to add massive value to your vision. If you know your people and you know who they are going to bring so much value to your business, your company, your vision, your purpose, because you understand their purpose. There are a lot of employers out there that don't want to be bothered with that. They don't want to know their people. They just want to be able to give them a command or an order or some type of instruction and walk away. But they don't want to know who their people are. And because of that, the employees don't know who their leader is. They don't understand their boss, their manager, their supervisor, their the company owner. They don't know them. And if they don't know them, then they don't know the purpose. They don't understand the purpose or the vision. You see how this goes both ways? And so by saying that, we want our employees to add this massive value to our vision. I want you to realize we just came full circle with this pattern. The pattern was vision, people, work, purpose, and it came right back to vision. So I want to leave you with this. I know this was a little bit of a shorter episode, a shorter teaching today, but I want you to really think about everything that I've shared with you and process some of it and share your thoughts and your ideas with me on how you feel about this. I challenge you to go into any business establishment, just as you're going about your day and doing your regular routine stuff. Sometimes I'm grocery shopping and I'm watching the employees. I'm watching the leadership that's walking along the floors, checking on their people. I'm watching the leadership that is not checking on their people. I'm watching the interaction between employee and customers. I'm watching everything. I can't help it. It's just in me. And I love to watch it because I learn from those things. And I'm able to come in and share the experiences. And sometimes I'll even step in if it involves me. If there's an employee that is a little snippy or maybe acts like they don't have time for me, I might look at them and say, well, how are you doing today? And they'll look at me kind of crazy and they'll be like, I'm fine. Oh, okay. I just, was wondering because you seem a little upset. I didn't want to upset you, but can you help me with such and such situation, whatever it is. And once I get them talking, I realize really quickly that they begin to open up and share things with me that they probably didn't even think that they would, but it'll immediately start with, I'm all right, I'm just having a really rough day, or I had a hard time today, or, I'm just really tired, or I wasn't feeling well. It's those little things that make you stop and remember, they weren't mad at me. They were just having a hard day. But at the same time, nobody has really trained them and taught them that great customer service that we grew up with, and understanding that you still came to work. You still came to do a job. And you have to kind of push that aside, because the more that we change our attitude towards other people, the more our day begins to change. And they don't know that. They haven't experienced it yet. I can go into work feeling horrible. Maybe I didn't get a good night's sleep. Maybe I'm just have a sinus infection. My head is hurting. Whatever it is. I can sit there and mope. I can sit there and wish that I was at home. But I chose to go to work that day. I chose to sit down or to show up and to be there and sit down at my desk and to do the things that I need to do. There's going to be a couple of moments where I don't feel well, but you better believe that when someone walks up to me, my attitude will change. And I will give them a smile, and I will tell them, no, it's fine, whatever you need. We just have to learn to do that. And the more that I do, the better I begin to feel. Because I've forgotten about myself, and I've jumped right into what is most important to me, and that's serving others. That's just my own personal experience. But I find that when I do that in the stores, it's a way of helping to shake those people, those employees that don't want to be there, and reminding them why they are there. Because they're doing great things for their customers. They're doing great things to serve others. They're making other people's days wonderful. And when they can receive a smile and a thank you for what it is that they've done, we've helped to make their day better. But there are a lot of leaders and managers, supervisors, owners that don't want to be bothered with that. They don't want to be bothered with taking the time to share these things with their staff. And it's so important, or else you're going to start to lose those people, and you're going to have to start all over with new people, and the same cycle is going to repeat. And so we have to focus on this pattern for success. What I see works, and when I do walk into an establishment or a store or a business and I recognize the pattern, I just can't help but smile, because I see it every time. I can see when the pattern is in order in that store. So I want to leave you with this. Using the 4 words in this pattern, which is vision, people, work, and purpose. In that order, you have to remember it's vision first, people, work, and then purpose. You can always leave with this. People with a purpose will always equal value. Vision with work will always equal growth. I'm going to read that to you again, and then I'll give you our final bottom line to this whole lesson. People with purpose will always equal value. If your people have a purpose, they will bring value to your business. Vision with work. Your vision with work. That means them operating in their purpose and doing the things that they love to do will always equal growth. So the bottom line is that value and growth will always create success. So take that word, think on it. Just kind of take a little while to process that. And you tell me if you don't recognize this pattern when you go into a business or an establishment that is operating in excellence, that is operating in their purpose, that is fulfilling the vision of that visionary. You tell me that you don't see that pattern, because I see it every time. So that is it for me today, you guys. I hope that I've encouraged you. I hope that I've given you some great things to think about. And thank you again just for joining me here on the Expressions of Destiny podcast. Can't wait to talk to you again. Have a wonderful day, and God bless.